our protagonist finds himself awakening in the body of a noble who's a complete failure. Liam. The shock of being in a child's body sends him into a panic. His father, though irritated by the outburst, happens to be in a decent mood and merely orders Liam to sit down and avoid being a disgrace, struggling to process the surreal situation. Liam convinces himself it must all be a dream and that he'll wake up soon. However, when the next morning arrives and he's still trapped as Liam Hamilton, it becomes clear he has no choice but to come to terms with his new reality. A little while later, his personal maid comes into his room to help him get dressed. Liam asks her a few questions and finds out that he's the fifth son of a count and that the party yesterday was to celebrate the birth of his new baby sister. Later that day, Liam is having a chat with his older brother, Bruno, to try and piece together a bit more about his current life. He finds out that Bruno is the fourth son of the Hamilton noble family, but they are on the verge of losing their status as nobility. Essentially, there's a rule designed to stop noble families from growing too arrogant. It dictates that every noble lineage must achieve something significant within 3 generations. If not, they lose their noble status and are downgraded to commoners. As it happens, the Hamilton family is now in its 3rd generation without any noteworthy achievements, which explains why their father and the eldest son, Albrecht, are so eager to make a meaningful contribution to society to secure their place as nobles. Bruno, on the other hand, doesn't really care if he ends up becoming a commoner because he's just a chill guy who doesn't give a freak. Liam is surprised by how nonchalant Bruno is about the whole situation, but to be honest, he doesn't really care either. He literally got here yesterday, so he doesn't know what to do with his life in the first place. When their tutor announces the start of magic lessons, the instant Liam hears the word magic, Liam excitedly asks if he'll learn to use magic. Surprised by his enthusiasm, Bruno mentions a collection of grimoires in the storeroom, but warns that most people lack the aptitude for magic. Still, the instructor encourages Liam to study, as understanding magic is valuable even without the ability to use it. Liam goes to find his maid and asks her to show him where the grimoires are. She leads him to the mansion study, and Liam is amazed by the sheer volume of knowledge present here. He looks through the shelves and finds a book about basic fire magic. He opens it and decides to try it out. After following the instructions in the book, Liam is able to create a flame on the tip of his finger, which is really impressive for a first attempt. Liam heads to his father's office to request permission to access the grimoire library, but his father, clearly uninterested in engaging with him, dismissively says Liam can do whatever he wants. While the exchange is somewhat discouraging, the key takeaway is that Liam now has permission to use the library. Over the following days, he dedicates himself to mastering all the basic elemental spells. In time, he becomes proficient enough to cast the spells without needing to reference the grimoire. Bruno is astonished because he can't use magic at all. He tells Liam he is amazing, and soon enough, he will be able to make a name for himself. However, Bruno is curious about Liam's motivations and asks him if he's trying so hard to learn magic because he wants to become the next family head. After all, that may make him a target for their elder brother, but Liam has no interest in the family politics of succession. He just thinks magic is cool. Having mastered all the beginner spells, Liam decides to move on to learning ice magic. However, as he's leaving the library, his father calls for him. It seems word of Liam's talent for magic has reached his father's ears, and despite showing little interest in him just a few days ago, his father is now suddenly very intrigued by him. He asks for a magic demonstration, so Liam shows him that he can cast magic without needing to open a grimoire. The Count is elated because he might be able to use Liam to secure their family's position. From now on, he tells Liam that he is allowed to use whatever resources he may need for his magic studies. Out of nowhere, a report arrives that a certain man has been spotted on Hamilton territory. The Count immediately commands the soldiers to mobilize and capture him. Judging by the urgency, this individual seems to pose a significant threat. However, that doesn't concern Liam, so he simply heads back into the forest to continue practicing his magic. While he's walking out into the woods, he finds a man sitting under a tree. The man seems a little on edge. Once he spots Liam, he asks if Liam is a member of the Hamilton family here to capture him. Liam confirms that he is indeed a member of the Hamilton family, but he has no interest in capturing him. He doesn't even know who the guy is to begin with. The man relaxes upon realizing that Liam isn't after him, but then he notices the grimoire in Liam's hands and asks if he's studying magic. Liam confirms and explains that he plans to keep practicing, as constant training is the best way to improve. Just as Liam is about to leave, the man stops him and asks if he's interested in learning a more efficient method of using magic. Intrigued, Liam presses him for details, and the man demonstrates a technique that enables him to wield 5 different types of magic simultaneously. Liam is deeply impressed, so the man offers him a quick magic lesson, which Liam eagerly accepts. The man is surprised by Liam's politeness, as nobles are typically known for their arrogance, though Liam is different, likely due to his recent reincarnation. For the first lesson, the man instructs Liam to draw 2 diagrams on the ground simultaneously. Liam follows the instructions and demonstrates a natural talent for it. The next challenge is expected to be much more difficult. The man instructs Liam to attempt casting 2 different spells simultaneously. Liam gives it a try, conjuring a flame cutter with his right hand and a fireball with his left. After visualizing the spells, he successfully casts them both at the same time on his very first attempt. The man is genuinely astonished, as it's incredibly rare for anyone to master this technique, especially on their first try. Encouraged by Liam's talent, the man urges him to push further and attempt casting 3 spells at once instead of 2. Liam gives it a try, and it seems to be working at first, but then his magic suddenly fizzles out, so Liam gets disappointed. However, the man assures him that he performed the technique properly, so the only reason the magic died out was because he doesn't have enough magic power in his body right now to sustain it. Casting multiple spells at once consumes an insane amount of magic power, so Liam just needs to learn to control his magic a little more to maintain the simulcast. For now, the man decides to give Liam a brief lesson on the nature of the technique. He asks Liam to sit down as he draws an illustration in the dirt. The drawing represents prime numbers, and the man explains that the multi-spell casting technique only works with these numbers. He admits he doesn't know why it works that way, but that's just how it is. Essentially, Liam can cast 1, 2, or 3 spells simultaneously, but attempting to cast 4 spells at once will fail, no matter what he tries. Right now, the man has a limit of 13 spells at once, which is unbelievably impressive. But honestly, he has enough magic power that he can easily go up to 16. However, due to the prime number rule, he can't activate any higher simulcasting until his magic power can accommodate 17 spells. Liam is currently 12. So the man is confident that with a solid training routine, Liam will be able to raise his magic power to great heights. To help him with that, the man offers him a special ring. The ring is essentially a colossal grimoire, packed with countless spells that Liam can study whenever he pleases. Excitedly, Liam slips the ring onto his finger, and over 300 spells flood into his young mind. Eager to test them out, he faces the forest and activates the wind shot spell, unleashing a powerful gust of wind. Thrilled with the result, he turns back to thank the man, only to realize the man has vanished without a trace. Just then, Liam's maid shows up and warns him that it's dangerous to be out in the woods alone right now. Apparently, there's a suspicious man on the loose, so she tells him to be careful about talking to strangers. But that aside, she came here to give him a grimoire his father wants him to have, so she hands him the book and walks off to return to the mansion. The man suddenly reappears behind Liam, prompting Liam to ask where he had gone just a moment ago. The man explains that he never actually left. He was using invisibility magic to stay hidden, as it's crucial that no one discovers him here. Moving on, he comments on how fascinating the grimoire Liam has just acquired and offers to teach him something new. He instructs Liam to open the grimoire and attempt summoning a spirit while wearing the ring he had just given him. When he summons a fire spirit, it gets absorbed into the ring. He does the same with all the other elemental spirits so he can ask for their help later. But by the time he's done, he realizes that the man is gone, and this time he won't be coming back. Before he left, he wrote a message for Liam in the dirt and told him, Keep training your magic, and you will surely become a great mage in the future. And by the way, don't snitch on me. If anyone asks, I was never here. Liam doesn't know much about the man, but there's no denying that he gained more knowledge in one afternoon than he could have ever acquired on his own. For that reason, he will always regard the man with deep respect as his master. A month after meeting his master, Liam has improved significantly in his magic skills through consistent training. Bruno is astonished to find that Liam has produced white charcoal, a difficult and valuable material requiring extreme precision, using only magic. He is further impressed when he notices Liam also has a bag of Lecro crystals. These are crystals designed to restore depleted magic power. Bruno asks if Liam created them on his own, and Liam confirms it, though he admits it was challenging to perfect the technique at first since it requires casting 5 types of magic simultaneously. However, he eventually managed to get it right. Bruno is pleased to see how talented his younger brother is, as it reassures him that Liam will likely do just fine on his own. As for Bruno, he's getting married soon, so he won't be around anymore. Liam is shocked since this is the first time he's hearing about any marriage, but Bruno explains that he is marrying into a low-ranking noble family. They have less money than the Hamilton family, but he will have more freedom there, so he's happy with the arrangement. Liam doesn't know how to feel about this, but he says he's happy for Bruno. Before leaving, Bruno decides to offer Liam some advice. He explains that their father had hoped for a daughter, intending to marry her into the royal family to solidify the Hamilton family's status as nobility. However, when Liam was born a boy, their father considered him a failure and resolved to try again for a daughter instead. In the meantime, their father grew increasingly anxious about the family's position, so in a desperate attempt to achieve something, he sent out a force of 1,000 men to slay a monster that had been sealed away in the forest. However, that plan failed miserably, resulting in the loss of over 90% of the forces. Their father is still trying to gain an achievement for the Hamilton family, but personally, Bruno thinks the family is doomed. He wants Liam to think about a way to live independently. Liam takes Bruno's advice about becoming independent to heart and starts selling his creations to earn his own income. This turns out to be a smart move, as the white charcoal proves to be a valuable commodity and sells for a good price. However, Liam realizes he'll need something even more lucrative if he's going to make enough money to support himself fully. Since he's in town already, Liam decides to take a break at a noodle shop and asks for a bowl of ramen. The shop lady prepares one bowl for him, and Liam absolutely loves the taste, and so do a lot of people in town. But all the noodles here are made from scratch and don't last very long, so Liam comes up with a great idea to make some extra profit. After some experimentation, Liam heads to the kitchen where his maid and the head chef are preparing dinner and asks them to try his latest creation. He places a block of noodles into a bowl and explains that all they need to do is pour hot water over it. Once they do, it transforms into a tasty bowl of noodles. Liam had used his spirits to cook and dehydrate the noodles, making them last a long time and allowing them to be prepared almost instantly. He is sure his invention will be widely loved, so he rushes to the merchant guild to sell it. But to his disappointment, the merchant tells him he can't distribute Liam's product for him since he is only the 5th son of the Hamilton family. As such, he will need written permission from his father or his eldest brother, Albrecht, to sell any original goods in this land. Liam doubts he'll be able to get permission without also having to surrender his profits, so he decides to give up for now and heads home. There, it's revealed that Albrecht was the one who instructed the merchant to reject Liam's request. Unable to tolerate the thought of his younger brother being more successful than him, Albrecht is determined to do whatever it takes to sabotage Liam's efforts. However, while Liam may not be aware of his brother's grudge against him, he's determined to sell his products no matter what it takes. He decides to take some drastic measures. First, he loads a bunch of his products into an item box he created with the man's ring. Afterwards, he begins casting summoning magic, but this time, instead of summoning a spirit, he intends to use it to summon himself. At first, it seems like the spell is going to function as teleportation, but instead, Liam ends up creating a perfect clone of himself and sends it to a neighboring territory. If he's not allowed to sell his products within the Hamilton region, he decides he'll simply sell them elsewhere. A few days later, Liam receives a message from his clone detailing the impressive sales it has managed to secure. At this pace, Liam is beginning to see real potential in achieving his independence. Watch this next video on screen and subscribe to not miss next part.